Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Monday night Facebook Live. My name is Laura Betts. I am founder and facility director of Hyperbarics RX. We are a holistic hyperbaric center here in South Florida. In fact, we are one of the only holistic hyperbaric centers of its kind in the world. And today I'm going to share some more information with you. So again, welcome, welcome. We do Facebook Lives every Monday at 6 o'clock. And it is a great opportunity for you to ask our oxygen experts and holistic health practitioners questions real time in the chat. If you are listening to this and on the replay, and say, hey, wow, this is some really neat information, please feel free to give us a call at the office. Our number is 954-749-9998. And you can also send us a direct message or an email. So again, my name is Laura Betts. Welcome, welcome. And we do Facebook Lives every Monday at 6 o'clock, and we talk about all sorts of topics. And tonight's topic specifically is going to be on something called Neuromyelitis Optica. It's got a couple of other names. And I'm going to talk a little bit about ANDI Research Protocols. So again, thank you so much for coming out and joining us this evening. So in regards to hyperbaric oxygen therapy, last week I specifically talked about something called multi-level protocols. And I've shared many times that Hyperbarics RX is an ANDI certified hyperbaric training facility, as well as an ANDI certified hyperbaric facility. And that's a really big deal. It means a lot of different things. And the topic that I'm going to talk about, this information here, is a really top example of that. It's a really great example of that. So if you are a hyperbaric medical professional, somebody who is just passionate about helping people heal their health naturally, if you are an existing hyperbaric facility and you're interested in becoming an ANDI certified hyperbaric facility, please reach out to the ANDI organization. You can send us a direct message and we'll be happy to get you to them. And if you are saying, hey, is hyperbaric going to work for me? Maybe this is something to consider. There are big differences is the sites that you choose, and this is one of the really specific reasons why. So again, last week we talked about ANDI hyperbaric protocols, what are multi-level dives, and one of the points about that particular video, I encourage you to go back and listen to it, is I shared information on how dosage dependent many of these mechanisms, these triggers in our body, these switches that we're able to turn on and off, these signals that are sent to the different cells. And all of those different chemical reactions, all of those different trigger points, all of those mechanisms of action, it turns out that they are very dosage dependent. So healing a brain injury, doing neurological repair is different. It requires different dosages than trying to kill an infection. And if we've got inflammation, if we're trying to do pain management, that's a little different as well. So in the ANDI organization, the research sites have been collecting data for decades. Every time one of the ANDI research sites has these interesting cases come in, the data, albeit anecdotally, is collected and retained. And in some cases, the data itself, well, the family prior to turning to hyperbaric oxygen therapy, in a lot of these cases, they didn't receive a lot of support from other medical professionals with the decision to do that. So the amazing big wows, the incredible positives don't get documented because the initial neurologists they were working with, the initial doctors they were working with weren't familiar with hyperbaric, and they couldn't tell them that it would work. In some cases, they would tell them that it didn't work. So the families have said, great, we're just going to enjoy our quality of life. We're just going to enjoy our healthy family member. And a lot of the research data, again, wasn't formally documented. And this is where a lot of this anecdotal data really comes into play. So one of the big points here in regards to these dosage mechanisms is, what are we trying to treat? And one of the biggest differences between an ANDI certified hyperbaric facility and every place else is that they have this information. They have these dosages, they have these trigger points, and they specifically have essentially the ANDI hyperbaric facility protocol list. And the ANDI Hyperbaric Facility Protocol List, it's a research protocol list. It includes a tremendous amount of data. Many of the indications on that list are cleared indications. Some of those are cleared indications in a specific country, where they're cleared in one country, like the United States, for example, but they're not cleared in another country, like Australia. So all different information. And ANDI, as an organization, we are an international organization, and over 60 countries right now. And as a result of that, the protocol list, the ANDI member hyperbaric facility protocol list, includes all of these different research protocols from all of the different research sites around the world. And Hyperbarics RX is one of those research sites. And one of our early cases, we did multiple cases of a condition called neuromyelitis optica. It's regarded as a rare immune disorder. It's also called Devic syndrome or Devic disease. And as we're making some big changes on the ANDI protocol list. So for the ANDI members that are jumping on this call later or that are listening, as we've been compiling the ANDI facility list and moving it into a really neat updated database format, as I was going through it, I'm like, wow, some of these conditions that we have on here are relatively rare. 1 in 500,000 people, 1 in 125,000 people. And we have experience on many of these rare cases with multiple cases. So this information is really important because it gives the ANDI hyperbaric facility, using the ANDI system, who has ANDI certified chamber operators who can duplicate the dosage of the protocol with the equipment that the facility has, to create the opportunity for efficacy. Hyperbaric mechanisms are highly dosage dependent. I bet you didn't know that most hyperbaric facilities only run one dosage. They don't change the dosage for different conditions. They don't change the dosage. In some cases, they can't change the dosage. Their equipment is limited. So here at Hyperbarics RX, you have a personalized dive plan, and that personalized dive plan is partially based, the foundation for where that information is coming from is based on the ANDI protocol list. So really, really interesting there. And excuse me. So again, we just have so much more information. We just have so much more that we're able to offer and really create an opportunity for a lot of different benefits. So let me take a drink of water before I go on to my next step. So I always think it's interesting how in a scenario like this, these lives are not all that easy to do. So to be here and hang out, not so straightforward with it. So let me get a drink of water. And so much better. And it's really weird because you're fine all day and then you get on a live stream and suddenly your throat doesn't work anymore as you're trying to talk about fancy terms. So very, very funny stuff. All right, so much better. I'm like And then I'm trying to talk. So I don't know, I'll probably hear about this later. Okay, very, very cool. So getting back into the topic. So let me talk about a little bit about what neuromyelitis optica is. It's basically immune disorder. And this particular immune disorder, what characterizes this one is it specifically affects the central nervous system. The immune system attacks the myelin, and the myelin is the insulation around the nerves. It causes damage to the central nervous system from the immune system attacking the spinal cord, and it's distinct because there seems to be an affinity in optic nerve damage. This particular collection of symptoms, it's spinal cord and optic nerve, central nervous system. Now, the existing therapies that are out there have some very, very serious side effects, and that's what initially brought these cases to us in the first place. One of the common therapies for a lot of immune disorders is to essentially destroy the immune system using a chemotherapy agent. Now, again, the premise of killing all the soldiers so that there's no one to fight, yes, that's true. But the problem is those soldiers do lots of other things. And the reason why the immune system is misprogrammed, that's a different discussion. And one of the things that we do here in putting these personalized diet plans together is we look at the root cause. So interestingly enough, one of the neuromyelitis optica cases that we worked with over time, let me take a step back. So going back to dosage dependent. So hyperbaric oxygen therapy at very specific dosages can suppress this negative immune response. So in this particular condition, the body's immune system, the cell signaling, it's gone wacky, it's confused. It can't tell the difference between a bad guy like a pathogen and a good guy like the myelin. So it gets very confused, and the immune system is essentially attacking the spinal cord and the optic nerve in this particular condition. Now, there are a lot of immune disorders where this happens. The immune system, the cell programming goes wild. And hyperbaric oxygen therapy at very specific dosages shuts down this negative immune response. It stops the body from attacking. It suppresses this improper immune activity without damaging the immune system. And this is, again, another example of a very, very dosage dependent mechanism. And just going to a hyperbaric oxygen facility isn't going to be enough here, because this condition is a perfect example based on the anecdotal real-time research. So, and taking a step back here, in these cases, many of these people came to hyperbaric oxygen therapy as an absolute last hope. In some cases, they had tried everything and they're willing to try something else. And one of the pieces of information that is often left out because of lack of education, because of ignorance, because of some of the confusion between emergency hyperbaric medicine and non-emergency hyperbaric medicine, people get scared. And where hyperbaric oxygen therapy should be one of the things that they try first, because even if we're not sure how it's going to work, it's not going to hurt them, they end up trying it much, much later. So in these scenarios, again, they're like, we'll do anything. So this creates an opportunity in many of the people that we're working with in the research models. They've already been through all of it. They're really open. They're really willing to try. And we had some great experiences here. Now, interestingly enough, not surprisingly, hyperbaric at completely different dosages will supercharge the immune system. It actually has bactericidal mechanisms, and it can kill some pathogens. So this was very interesting, because in these neuromyelitis optica cases, in these collection of symptoms, as the hyperbaric dosages were taken up, they exhibited very clear, very distinct Jarix-Herxheimer reactions. Now, I need to do a whole video on what a Jarix-Herxheimer reaction is, and I have discussed overloaded drainage pathways, and there are videos on the difference between detox and drainage, and I talk about essentially the general principle there. But basically, in hyperbaric medicine, a Jarix-Herxheimer reaction means something very, very specific. It means a specific collection, a specific type of pathogen, a pathogen from a specific group family has been killed on a large scale level. That's what it means when it presents in hyperbaric in the way it did in this research model that I'm talking about here. Well, wait a minute. If there's a pathogen, if there's something infectious, then the immune system isn't just going wild, and the immune system isn't confused. The immune system is trying to do something. It's trying to attack something. And for one reason or another, it's having a hard time hitting the target. And sometimes why it can't hit the target is because the target has a protein coding camouflage, which a lot of these complex bacteria do, some of these complex pathogens do, and the immune system can't get to it. And this is another issue where hyperbaric is really amazing, because now we have this dosage here that suppresses a negative immune response. We get stabilization of symptoms. The body's immune system is no longer attacking the person's spine. It's no longer attacking their optic nerve, spinal cord. And then now, in another set of circumstances, we can use the broad spectrum bactericidal mechanisms of hyperbaric oxygen therapy to effectively eradicate this pathogen. And interestingly enough, we did pursue this further, and it turns out that this particular research model demonstrated a correlation between Lyme disease and neuromyelitis optica, and multiple persons in this research model tested positive for Lyme. So that's very interesting, because we know that Lyme can very specifically target the nervous system, and we know that Lyme has an affinity for the optic nerve. So that was very interesting. And in this particular protocol for neuromyelitis optica, this protocol, from the anecdotal research, from the experience, is essentially addressing what are we trying to do here, and it's got to watch out, because there's a possibility that this person could be misdiagnosed. Now, if the facility was never able or willing to adjust the dosage, if the operator was not a trained and certified ANDI chamber operator, and they weren't able to know how much they were giving, this entire thing would have been completely missed. And in this particular situation, not only on the neurological side of the protocol did the hyperbarics suppress the negative immune response, stop their immune system from attacking their central nervous system, it actually repaired the neurological damage. Now, I've done other videos talking about how hyperbaric heals brain injury, and hyperbaric for concussions, and hyperbaric for stroke, and hyperbaric for neuropathy, and how hyperbaric is so beneficial for neurological repair in general. So in these research cases, they had follow-ups with physicians, and they had lesions on their spine, they had lesions in their brain, and the lesions had healed. And yes, they did still have some residual scarring from the lesions being present in the first place. So that was very interesting. And I will say that in the ANDI facilities, we have a lot of just experience, only because hyperbaric ends up being a last resort. So on the ANDI Hyperbaric Facility Protocol list, there are protocols on there for conditions that there's only one in 125,000. There's only 125,000 people in the world that have a few of these. I mean, they're really, really interesting. And then we have real-time data and real cases with it. So it's pretty neat. Neuromyelitis optica and other complex cases, this is one of the many ways in how we can help you heal, balance, and restore your health with a completely holistic approach. Unlike a chemotherapy agent that's going to really cause some severe damage, unlike using steroidal anti-inflammatories that have very serious consequences over long-term use. The hyperbaric is supportive. Clinically speaking, at proper clinical dosages, it's only doing good things, and we need a personalized dive plan with the rest of the support for the body to really create an opportunity to reach the goal, to actually get the outcome. But even if it's not going to make it worse, it's not going to cause harm. So we really have a lot of experience with complex cases. As an ANDI research site, we have the ability to customize the protocols. I talked about last week about all of these different multi-level protocols, and in many of these complex presentations like neuromyelitis optica, the research is very clear that we've got multiple trigger points. We've got inflammation, we've got we need bactericidal mechanisms, we need neurological repair mechanisms. All of those things are different trigger points. And then, of course, personalizing it for the individual. So very, very neat stuff, and just another example of many of the different things that we do here. Again, I myself, I sit on a couple of medical boards, so behind the scenes, I have an awful lot of information, and there is new information that is happening. What's going on out here in the trenches with my fellow hyperbaric warriors is really quite amazing. Not only are we healing things that are regarded as unhealable. I mean, in all of these cases of NMO that I'm talking about, they were told by the families that there is nothing they can do. The families were told that there's nothing they can do. They were told that they need to just get their affairs in order. And having seen the absolute incredible results that they got from hyperbaric, there's just such a disconnect there on it. So again, I hope this information was just kind of a little sneak peek. Again, we are really doing some neat things and bringing a whole bunch of new information. We have all sorts of experience with complex cases. And if you have one of these, quote, rare autoimmune diseases, if you're listening to this and everybody is telling you is that there's nothing you can do, that's not true. There's a lot you can do. The human body is amazing. If you're breathing, your body is in some type of regenerative cycle. We can supercharge that with hyperbaric oxygen therapy. We can support those organs with proper whole food, completely bioaccessible nutrition to give your body the ability to detox, repair, and heal naturally. So we'd love to help you. I encourage you to reach out and give us a call. We do our consultation right now. We've got a couple of specials running for the month of April. First special is that we are offering our detox foot baths, and we're offering 3 of those for $99. If you have never done a detox foot bath, it is an amazing deal. It's an incredible experience, and we'd love to have you take advantage of that. You don't have to use all 3 in April. You have a year to use them. So if you're a little worried about scheduling, but again, it is an incredible deal, and you're saving $48 on the package. And then we're also doing a special on our nutritional consult, and we will, it's made up of 2 appointments. and we're going to take 30 to 45 minutes and go over your whole history. We're going to get a whole bunch of information. We're going to ask you all sorts of questions after you filled out all of the paperwork, and then we're going to do a follow-up appointment, and we're going to tell you what we found and what your personalized dive plan and nutritional program look like, and really get you on a path to wellness, really get you on track to helping to heal and rebalance your health naturally. So again, I thank you so much for joining me this evening. My name is Laura Betts. Again, I am founder of Hyperbarics RX. And by the way, I have a personal narrative. In one of the other videos, I talk about my story. And because of my diving experience, because I grew up in a diving family and I was working as a mixed gas diving instructor in the diving industry, I had access to hyperbaric medicine. Many people don't even know what hyperbaric medicine is, or have their own hyperbaric chamber to be able to apply it. And it was profound in my healing journey. And that was the whole basis for the creation of this holistic hyperbaric center. So again, we are passionate about natural health. We would love to help you. You just need to let us help and give us a call, 954-749-9998. And I look forward to seeing you next Monday. Again, Facebook Lives every Monday at 6 o'clock. Check out our other videos. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Bye-bye.